Hello to currently nobody, I presume, and welcome to another Scuff stream. I heard about this game all of 4 minutes ago, and okay, let's see what we're into. I'm gonna pull this up on actually a 3D board. I've started liking 3D boards for watching games. Okay, where's the game at right now? Opposite corners. And then making this like wedge shape. People have talked about this. I know Riddle has talked about this like B3, B4 wedge. Trying to sort of enclose this shape that white is trying to make. I don't know how I feel about it this way. I would be a little scared as white here, or as black here. Just because there is D1, I think, right now. I think there is just D1. And I think after D1, if you protect it by moving the D2 square up, getting rid of this C2 right threat, then the capstone can jump in on D2 and threaten the D3 square again. Now, that might be a little hard to visualize if you're like newer to tack. Suppose white plays D1 here. That would be tack by moving the C2 square to the right. So to block, most likely, black will move the D2 square up. And if that happens, then you can just place a D2 capstone and then threaten the D3 square, which now has a liability on it. Which seems pretty good. You could also just play B5 first, but I don't like it. I think threatening this vertical is a good way to deal with black's horizontal. Yeah. Exactly what I was thinking. Exactly what I was thinking. So yeah, this is where it gets scary. And it's like Rabbit had to be ready for okay. This forces a wall. Yep. Only move. And now you just have B5. Okay. This gets weird. Who's better here? See, because my gut is telling me white is. But white's biggest threat is kind of off of the board. Right? And black's vertical is actually faster than white's horizontal. By a move. So it's not bad. I think it's actually pretty even, if I had to say. Now, that always is up for debate, especially top players will always like laugh at me for saying stuff like that is up for debate. But I'm the streamer. Yeah, Pluto kind of realizing, taking a lot of time on his clock to try and figure out what he likes the most in this position. I don't know what I like the most in this position. Because this capstone for black also kind of threatens the vertical. Just cashes out. Fair enough. This is why it's kind of fine, because black will probably only have to place this one wall. Now, with Comey, the flats are even. Well, no. Wait. Flats favor white? Because that just gave white parity. So now, white has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 6 flats on the board to 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and to 1, 2, 3, 4. And white will place last because they made a move that doesn't actually add pieces to the board. Or that doesn't actually like add squares being used to the board. So this is just white is up on FCD right now. I don't know if that'll matter long term, because it looks like there's going to be about to be a lot of capstone captures and probably some other captures in the future on this top left corner. This top left corner is going to be a big battle sometime soon. I would be a little scared of what will happen up here. I would, yeah, I'm kind of agreeing with Boris. I'm kind of agreeing with Boris that all black really needs to do here is just play b5. I quite liked b5 for black. I think white never actually has a threat in time. That's faster than yours. There's a wall on d2 that can come to the right. The capstone can come up. Yeah, maybe Boris is right. E1 is kind of a threat. I don't know if it's like a very scary threat, but it is a threat. Actually, it is kind of scary, because it makes this d2 wall look useless. Yeah, that's fair. So it's gonna be like e2 anyway. Let's the capstone up. I would play e6 here, but that's just me. The other option is just b5 now. No, this feels like really scary for white. What? Black's horizontal is faster. Black's vertical is faster. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Ooh, f5 is also good too. I like that from Boris. Although it does no, f5 is a pretty good move. e1 is a little, yeah. This is the type of stuff I was scared of, right? Is like white kind of feels like they're playing hard for this vertical, but like does this vertical ever work? Like, I don't know. I don't believe in this vertical very much right now. If you asked me to play out this position as black, I would just play like a2 or b5 or something. I wouldn't think with my brain. I would just put obvious looking moves on the board and then just play the game. Because d2 right will almost always defend. The only real threat now is white kind of has a horizontal if they get a2, which is kind of annoying. White also has a horizontal brewing up towards the top, but it's never faster than this black vertical. So it's really not that bad. The problem is, again, it is on black to make something happen. In exchange for this opening, black is down on FCD if we just place flats for the rest of the game. If we just make even captures and even flat moves for the rest of the game, it will be a white win. Well, okay. No, even with reserves, because white is even down on stones left in their stacks. So if we just keep placing, no matter what happens, white will win the game. Now, that means we're gonna have to make some weird spreads and stuff in the future, or black will have to. But I don't think that's really a problem. I think you could even force a wall out of white here. Now, the one thing I will say about this position that is kind of scaring me is that Rabbit has taken 4 minutes on this move, which, in a position where it feels like you have everything, kind of makes sense. But it is still scary, right? I mean, being even with Pluto the Brave on your clock is never a fun feeling. The only people I think who would feel satisfied being even with him are maybe Abyss, Aliano too, and Boris. I don't think anyone else would want to be even with this man on the clock. Me included. I'll let him think for a bit. He's clearly thinking. I have to go ahead and do something real fast. Alright, I return. A2 has been played. This is kind of what I expected. This looks terrifying. I don't know how you deal with this. Because this threat is like Tinue adjacent. It's not Tinue yet, but it's getting there. It's getting devilishly close. Or at least you can force like 2 walls here for sure, if white isn't paying attention. E6 I don't hate. It feels like your only option now, right? Because, like, what else are you playing? Oh, God. Yeah, I just am scared. I think e6 is good. I mean, as Boris is rightfully saying, it like doesn't actually do a whole ton. It's more of a nuisance than anything. But at this point, a nuisance is all you really need, right? To be honest, as black in this position, I'm looking at in the future playing capstone up because I think it makes this left side of the board incredibly scary. I think if this capstone is threatening the b5 square, you're threatening to end the game in like 3 moves for like the next quarter of the game. e6, just wall over, fair enough. No reason not to yet. It also is good because it unpins stuff like e5 up. Not that that'll ever really matter, but it could be useful. Who knows? b5, it's about what we expect. The only real question is like, what do you want here now? There's b6, there's c5, there's a5. If you're psychotic, there's c4. I don't know which one of these I like most. Probably c5, if I had to guess. After that, I don't really know what you're doing. Yeah. Just a5. Fair enough. Threatens Tinue, so you have to do something. Well, no, it doesn't threaten Tinue, so you don't have to do anything about it yet. Technically. Wait, no it does, because the capstone is looking at a4. Yeah, this is a Tinue threat. So you have to pay attention. If black gets a6 uncontested, the game just ends, I believe. Yeah. There is a line here. For example, if white plays c5, a6 for black just ends the game because you can't wall a4 because you lose. You have to play something like b5 left. But then there's just b5 replace. And then you have to do something like wall up b6. But then you have b5 left again. And then wall back. And then you get the classic, I'm threatening b5 and c5 idea. This line is weird. I almost want to pull it up on, PTN Ninja on an analysis board. But it is a Tinue threat, I promise you. Walls to deal with it. That feels bad. God. Is there like a4 here? b6 anyway? Yeah. c4 even. To just ignore it. Right? Like, this wall isn't actually in time to stop anything. Trinker is a good point. You could bowl this wall. I don't think there's a need to. But Pluto is acknowledging there is a Tinue threat on the board. wants to get rid of the possibility, does so, and is now admitting that they're in a very weird position in which I don't know what they want to do anymore. Just a4. Sure, okay. Do you just play c5 here? I'm honestly looking at c5 right now. I think it looks incredibly scary. To make it so you can threaten like f5 instead of f4. Maybe it's fine. Maybe it doesn't make a difference. I don't know. Why a6? Boris, I'm going to admit I don't understand why you're playing a6, but I respect it. Yeah, c5. I like c5 quite a lot. It definitely feels like white is under pressure, so that b2 up doesn't defend. Yeah, that is also something I am scared of. But then what? Then you're probably playing a6 anyway. After c5. The reason I want c5 first is just because, yeah, if you want to ever have a horizontal again, you have to do it like this, but you don't really want to be doing it like this. Maybe it gets weird now. Oh, does it get weird? No, no, it doesn't. Just b6 is fine, I think. Yeah. I like b6 here. Yeah. Because I think after b6, you kind of have to play b2 up. Or, not b2 up. Well, even if you do play b2 up. But, like, even then. Yeah, f5 also good. f5 first might be prudent. I'm just scared. White has a horizontal. I mean, it's not real, but I honestly like cap up more than f5. Because f5 allows like d5 right or something goofy. Capstone up just disconnects this white problem for the rest of the game. Right? White doesn't get to do anything ever on the vertical. White can only play with the horizontal, and even then the horizontal is like terrible to play. This horizontal for Pluto is not real. Edge crawls are very scary if there are not pieces touching them. For example, earlier in this position, black had this sort of edge-ish crawl where white didn't really have any problems in the position. Okay. Sorry, I'm scuffling with Boris a bit. We have some disagreements about the position. Yeah. No. Oh, it doesn't threaten a4. Duh. I do be blind today. Yeah, I forgot the capstone doesn't threaten a4 anymore. I don't know if that really matters that much. I feel like this is still fine. This is, yeah, you can't do it in this order though. This is the order I was thinking of. That feels intuitive, but it's just bad because now there's f5 and it's just renewal with b6 after 2b3 up. Yes, white definitely should have played f5. I completely agree with you. The fact that black has f5 is bad. This is bad news bears, I'm gonna be honest. This looks almost unsalvageable. This is tack for black. There are plenty of moves that defend. This is one of them. I don't think this saves the position. Can you just play a6 here anyway? First? I wonder. There's no point, right? I would look at moves like 4d5 right. Although maybe letting a wall happen doesn't actually matter. If this board dies, black is winning, so... yeah. It feels like Pluto is starting to scramble a little. Definitely. Yeah, Boris, that's what I'm looking at. Just kill this problem so that threats never happen ever again. Well, problem, quotation marks. The other difference is now, white sort of has a horizontal. The only threat white has, for now, is a4 down and then threatening stuff on the horizontal. I would play a4 down here. Just to make it so you have tempo a bit faster for your pretend horizontal on the bottom. It's the only thing you have, right? You have to threaten this horizontal. White feels a little rough right now. I don't know how white gets back in this game. Pluto thinking. Time is ticking. Just wall up. This is the difference, is now this isn't Tinue. Well, it wouldn't be Tinue either way. I don't like this though, because now a4 down is not realistic ever. Yeah, just b6. I like. There's no reason not to, right? And then you probably just fight for the bottom left corner. I would fight for like b2, c3 here. Sure, why not? I mean, does it matter? I don't understand the point of d4, but I guess it doesn't make that much of a difference, so... yeah. I agree. You don't need a4 down, but I don't think you... like, you get b3, but the problem is, Boris, your horizontal is just extremely slow. This way, so I don't even know if... ooh, 10 seconds on Pluto's clock. I'm gonna ignore all the strategy talk. Okay. D2. This is tack, but just capstone, right? Yeah. Now, notably, this capstone stack has... oh, let me zoom in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces in the stack. That means that carry limit applies, and that now the capstone stack can't move all of its pieces. Has to leave this e5 square behind. Now, that doesn't actually matter because the e5 square is a black square, which they want to leave behind anyway. Capstone down, yeah. This is basically what we expected. I think Pluto expected e4 and then was gonna try to get his capstone in the game to block out this threat, but I think I like this a lot more. Just create opposition so the only threat now is at the bottom of the board, and then you can probably just wall there twice. Like, honest. Ooh, now you have b3. Oh god. Or is c3 better? I would play c3 here. I don't know how you're stopping it. Oh lord. Oh no. This is scary. b2. Oh. The worst part is you have to be paying attention a little bit because you can't let the board fill as white. Although you also have to be paying attention a little bit as black. Because there are ways to accidentally lose to a vertical here. To a horizontal here. I don't think they'll ever happen. Let me be clear. But there are ways to lose this. Okay. Now, the threats are basically dead. If this was me... this is a little spooky. I would get spooked. There is like F1 and then look for like capstone left. Maybe it doesn't make a difference. It's definitely completely winning for white, or for black, but white still has ideas to get back in the game a little bit. I don't think they're real ideas, but there are ideas. So you have to be a little scared here. If you hate yourself, you could also complicate the game by playing d4 up, but I don't see a reason to. I would honestly just wall c1 and just kill the board. Like, you just win, I think, that way, right? Like, if black cannot get this horizontal or vertical going, they just die. Oh, yeah. I forgot white had a +2 move earlier. Oh god. God, why is this complicated? No. This shouldn't be complicated. I suppose the opening was so okay for white that, like, even playing like this is kind of fine. Is the idea. Rabbit? Lower on his clock than Pluto is. Decides to make it complicated. Okay. I think he was, like, scared of this fake horizontal idea. I don't know. I would even just waddle my wall over to c2. I think just waddling this e2 wall onto c2 is like completely fine, right? But Rabbit decides to take the complicated route. Now Pluto has to think. Not very hard, but suddenly the game gets a little... This kind of makes sense, but not really? I am unfond of this. I don't like this. I think suddenly white is... I don't want to say winning. I don't want to say winning yet, because I'm not sure. But the problem is, this d5 liability can cash out on these e5 and f5 squares, if they're able to. Boris, I do not know. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's a decision. Rabbit thinks he's behind on this board state. But I don't think he is. I was thinking even a wall at d5 was justified. This just... What am I watching? And suddenly, out of the blue, white has 6 stones left. And black has to throw this capstone in order to convert their FCD. So black is somehow down flats right now and has to convert. What? What am I watching? Rabbit just didn't like his position. And I don't know why. I can't think of a single reason why. I guess he thought he didn't have enough activity because of these 2 walls, or he was counting and he counted wrong or something. But yeah, this just like isn't real. You can't smash this because you're pinned. This capstone can't move ever again. And white is winning. Okay, technically you can't move. You have to be a little scary. You have to be a little scared here because you can't actually play this stack up, I think, right away, because you can smash it and that does lead to problems. So I would not play 3d4 up here, or 4d4 up here. Yeah, that is a move I very much like. And then like f5 up or something, and then just c5 replace. Yeah, I like this. I don't know how you're coming back from this as white, or as black. I think just c5 here is prudent. It won't be 5 because 3b4. Turinku, I was thinking even wall on b5 earlier was fine. But yeah, this feels bad. Somehow white is winning, decides to cash out, is greedy. I don't know if this is the right amount of greed, but it's definitely greedy. I didn't even notice there was a road here. And it ends with a road for what? Oh no. I'm actually in shock. I'm speechless. I, we opened the game. It went basically as I expected with this split, where black is a little slower because they have this b4 square, and then instead of this like b3 square first, white got up and walled, and then white felt the need to focus this vertical, but I don't think it actually works. I think black is actually just okay in this position, surprisingly. White just has to kind of stabilize. But in order to stabilize, white decided they had to place walls in this position. And so black was up on flat count, black was up on threats, black was... The only thing black didn't have is parity. And the bottom of the board, because they decided not to fill the bottom of the board with flats. The reason for which I am completely unsure. I will be honest. C5 I get. D5 replace I get. D4 up was a decision, and I said it was a decision that could be made. I thought, as I think Rabbit also thought, that the move here might be something like 3c4 up, and then you can smash on b4 and make things complicated. But even that doesn't work, right? So, like, I don't know what the plan here was after d4 up. Okay, Boris is talking about after wall on d2, you can play b5. I'm a little scared of b5. I think saving the move for later makes sense. But I'm scared of b5 because black's capstone can be used in the vertical, and black's vertical is faster than yours. So it's a little sketchy, right? Like, there's some weird trades going on here that you have to acknowledge. That could be incredibly annoying. Yada yada. Let me open this up quick. There's some potential trades that you kind of have to think about. Like, there's some worlds where you play, like, b5, a5, even c5. Probably c6 here, because I think if you play a5, c6, this is just, like, bad. So you probably have to play c6, b6, a5, a2, this or something. And I don't know if this is good or not. Like, I would throw the capstone for this, right? I don't know what the advantage in this position is. So I would feel incredibly confident as black that your threats are stronger, and you just have to convert. You play a6, not a5. Boris is reminding me that I am a goober. c4. What do you mean? Oh, like this? a6. Yeah. And then if I play a2, then you play b5 up. How are we dealing with this? Yeah. Okay. This is making more sense. This is a line I can see. Right. Forcing this edge crawl at the top of the board. I was also wondering what happened if black just plays c6 or b6 here. And like forces to trade early, but I guess it becomes kind of the same thing. Well, no, because now if you do it this way, it's like, no, it's still the same. Yeah. I don't know. But it definitely complicates things. That's for sure. You have to fight the top left of the board. Well, okay. Boris. Oh my gosh, let me look at this again. Boris, the capstone doesn't get involved because you acknowledged the capstone could get involved and then made the line so that black's capstone couldn't get involved. That's right? Like, after this, you played this line because you realized black's capstone reaches c4 and maybe c5. This is the reason you're playing this line, right? The reason you're putting everything up here is because of the capstone. The capstone is still involved. That's still being involved. It's just indirect involvement. The capstone wouldn't be involved if it was like here or something. It doesn't have any influence on this. But it's still influencing the board. I suppose I should have said influence, not involvement. So that's on me. Okay. What a yap. There's even worlds where you do it this way and then play c5 left first. Though I don't know if this is better or worse. I would be scared of this, right? Because I don't know how we're dealing with this. Like, capture over. Wall a2 looks awful. a2 is maybe fine. There's a3 down. Oh my god. Force this mess. How disgusting. This is the type of junk I would play. Alright, yeah, no one else would ever play that line in their life, so ignore. Ignore. That's not a real line, chat. Okay. Enough fun in games. Pluto managed to seemingly scrape out a win here. It definitely felt scary. Incredibly scary for a lot of this game. But yeah, that's just good game. Well played by PlutoTheBrave to stay in it. Hopefully Rabbit can start to close it next time. He should get another chance at Pluto. Yeah. I hope you have enjoyed whatever this has been, and I hope you have a wonderful whatever the rest of the whatever you are having. This is going to be the end of whatever this is. I will see you next, whatever the time.